Why I Stopped Narrating Stories on YouTube, written by CreepyGeeksta. I started narrating stories on YouTube because after sending every story I wrote to the big names and a few lesser-known names, I got no response. No thanks for sending. No, your story sucks. Nothing. I won't mention who they are, but most of you should know who I'm talking about. Although one big name did read a short story I wrote, which I'm very thankful for. It wasn't my best. This went on for a while. After months of frustration, I finally realized it wasn't going to happen. So, I decided to narrate my own stories. Create a YouTube channel, pick a name, and post them myself. How hard could it be? So, I did it. My stories were good. At least, I thought so. To my surprise, a few people actually liked them and, after a while, asked if I would narrate their stories. Wow, really? Okay, I thought. They would send them to me via the email address, which I gave them, and I would narrate their stories. And that started the ball rolling. One day I was talking to a coworker about narrating stories for fun, and they suggested that I check out an app called Reddit and search short scary stories and Nosleep. They said that they had posted a few stories on there and thought that it would be perfect for me, so I did check it out. I created an account and I started my search. There I found all kinds of amazing stories. I contacted some of the authors through the comments and personal messages, asking for permission to read their stories. Most were cool with it, although I did get a few rejections. But I just kept on asking. Always ask permission. That's some advice. Things were going great. I was narrating amazing stories. People were liking them. I even earned enough karma on Reddit to start my own community. I decided to use it for people to send me stories, and people actually did. All the while, I was still searching other communities for stories to read. That was until I found that story. I should have known by their username that it wasn't a good idea. I'm not going to mention the name of it because it still sends chills up my spine just thinking about it. I'm shaking as I write this. It was about 1 a.m. and insomnia set in. I was sitting at my dining room table searching Reddit when I found that story, and it just blew me away. It had it all: drama, suspense, emotion, everything. I contacted the author with a personal message asking for permission, except for some reason, I signed it using my real name, not my stage name. That was a big mistake. I realized what I had done, but it was too late. I had already sent the message. Anyway, mere seconds went by and I received a reply. "Yes, I've been waiting for this," it read. Thinking that they've been waiting for someone to read one of their stories, just like I had been, I replied, "Thank you, and I plan to go on with my night." Until I received my own personal message from the author. It read, "Hi, my name's Susan. Wanna talk?" I figured, what the heck, I'm not doing anything else, what could it hurt? So I sent back, "Sure." After about a 30-minute conversation, I found out that the author was female, that we both liked Stephen King, that we both loved horror stories, and that we both lived in the United States, only a few states away from each other. I started getting tired, and I let her know, and we ended the conversation, both saying good night. I was lying in bed, almost asleep, when I got a message from her saying, "I'm glad to have someone like you to talk to. I miss that." I shrugged it off and I went to sleep. A couple of days went by and I came home from work and found a note on the door. It said, "Hi, sorry I missed you. Love, Susan." What the? Love? I only talked to her for like half an hour. How did she get my address? What did I get myself into? I thought. I took the note off the door and I quickly went inside, locking the door and calling the police. I told them this story and they said that there was nothing they could do until an actual crime was committed. Yeah, that's reassuring. I hung up from them and tried to do my normal routine. Make coffee, get changed, drink coffee, and so on. But I couldn't get that note out of my head. The doorbell rang. I froze and slowly walked to the window to see who it was. It was a woman about 5.5 feet tall, in tattered, dirty clothes with long, stringy brown hair. It looked like she hadn't bathed in a month. I knew it was Susan. I had to end this now before it turned ugly. But ugly it turned. I opened the door and said, "Look, Susan, I don't know what you think is going on, but I just wanted to read your story. That's it. I'm sorry if you thought that there was something more, but there's not. Now please, go home." And with that, I shut the door and walked back inside the house. She screamed like a wild woman. She started pounding on the door, screaming, "I love you, I love you." I ran to the phone to call the police. A rock or a brick or something came crashing through the front window. I turned and saw that she was already climbing into my house, screaming, "Read my story! Read my story!" The shards of glass from the broken window were cutting her as she climbed in. There was blood on the window and then on the floor. "911, what's your emergency?" I heard. "There's a crazy bitch in my—" Before I could finish, she charged, slamming into me, knocking me over the desk and falling to the floor herself. She was kicking and screaming like a lunatic. I got up, phone still in hand, and smashed it hard against her temple as she was getting up. I don't hit women, but she deserved it. Her eyes rolled back into her head, and the screaming stopped, and she fell to the floor, unconscious. I heard sirens outside. I guessed that the 911 operator had heard it all. The cops came, they took my statement. They stayed outside for a while as the paramedics tended to Susan, if that's even her real name. The cops put her in cuffs and the paramedics took her to the ambulance. On her way out, she looked at me and started laughing and said, "I'll be waiting." They put her inside and then they left. The cops finished up and did the same. I was left with a messed up door, a broken window, blood all over the place, a broken desk, and a broken phone. All over a story. I'm done. I moved out that night. I left all my stuff behind. I slept in the car till payday, and then I rented a room off of a coworker. And I never narrated another story ever again. So, if any of my subscribers are reading this and wondered whatever happened to me, well, now you know. That's why I stopped narrating stories on YouTube. Hi everyone, I just wanted to take a quick second to talk to you and say, well, first off, I hope you enjoyed this story. When I saw it, I knew I wanted to read it, particularly when I saw the title. And I chose to release it today because, well, today is the 1-year anniversary of the channel. It's been an amazing year, having gone from no subscribers with a brand new channel to over 25,000 subs in 1 year is more than I had hoped for. So thank you to all of you who have shown up and watched the stories. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed. Thank you, I'm so glad that you have enjoyed it. I'd also like to thank all of the authors who have allowed me to read their amazing stories. Without them, there wouldn't have been a channel. So thank you to all of you for allowing me to read your stories. On a quick note, this story was written by CreepyGeeksta. He's also the author of the Barnaby series and a few other stories that I've featured on the channel. Now, he doesn't know I'm going to do this, but he has a YouTube channel too. So I'm going to put a link down in the description to that, so go check that out when this video's over. Anyway, we're going to be continuing the series that are currently ongoing. I've got a couple of new series that are going to be coming out in the near future. And I've got, well, a couple of other things that I'm going to be rolling out as well. Once again, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel and watching the videos. I'm so glad that people seem to enjoy my work. I absolutely love reading these stories, and I hope that that comes through in the stories. Thank you for all of the positive comments, even the ones that criticize, I appreciate. I mean, I've learned how to pronounce words that I've been mispronouncing my entire life. Anyway, at this point I'm rambling, but I hope that it comes across how grateful I am to all of you and how much I'm looking forward to the future. If you've made it to this point and haven't done it already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave me a comment down below. And be sure to check back tomorrow for another video. And once again, thank you to everyone